Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're thrilled to have you here. If you enjoy our content, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out. Now, let's dive into today's story. In the soft glow of a waning crescent moon, the grand silhouette of Castle Eichenwald loomed against the star-studded canvas of the night sky. Its turrets pierced the heavens like ancient sentinels, and the echo of centuries seemed to whisper through the stone halls. It was within these venerable walls that the noble Ludolf family had slumbered for generations, their dreams entwined with the very fabric of history. Tonight, as the world outside lay still, a delicate intrigue unfolded within the chambers of the castle, promising to unravel the mysteries of noble sleep. The air inside the castle was redolent with the scent of beeswax candles and the faint trace of lavender, a traditional herb said to bring about restful slumber. In the chamber of Lady Isolde, the tapestries whispered secrets of times long past, their intricate designs brought to life by the flickering candlelight. Her chamber was a sanctuary adorned with deep burgundy drapes, a luxurious featherbed topped with silken sheets, and a canopy embroidered with golden threads. Lady Isolde had always been a curious soul, prone to pondering the customs of her forebears. It was her nightly ritual to read the ancient diaries of her ancestors, preserved in the library's most secret alcove, before allowing the gentle embrace of sleep to claim her. Tonight, however, her curiosity was piqued by an entry she had discovered, hinting at a peculiar tradition, a secret that had been passed down through generations, hidden from the prying eyes of the outside world. As she settled into her bed, her mind wandered to the words of her great-great-grandmother, Lady Alara, who had written of a mysterious practice involving the moon's cycles. Lady Isolde's fingers traced the delicate script as she read aloud, her voice barely a whisper in the hushed room. When the moon wanes, and the night is veiled in its softest shadow, the time of the dreamwalkers begins. It is then that the noble soul journeys beyond the realm of the waking, guided by the light of the ancestors. Isolde's heart quickened with intrigue. What could this mean? She had heard of sleepwalkers, those who wandered unknowingly through the night, but this seemed different, a conscious journey, an exploration of realms unseen. Could it be that her ancestors had discovered a way to commune with their past, to seek wisdom from those who had walked before them? Determined to uncover the truth, Lady Isolde resolved to observe the customs of her ancestors herself. As she lay back against the pillows, she closed her eyes and allowed her breathing to slow, focusing on the rhythm of her heart. The moonlight filtered through the sheer curtains, casting ethereal patterns upon her eyelids. In the stillness, she felt the gentle pull of sleep, like the tide drawing her into a sea of dreams. Meanwhile, in another part of the castle, Lord Cedric, Isolde's cousin, grappled with his own nocturnal mystery. His chamber, less ornate but equally steeped in history, held a different allure. The scent of old books mingled with the crisp night air, and the moon cast a silvery sheen across his writing desk. Cedric had always been fascinated by the art of dream interpretation, a subject he had studied extensively, delving into the ancient texts and scrolls that lined his shelves. It was during one such study that he had stumbled upon a peculiar account of a nobleman who had recorded his dreams meticulously, using them as a guide for decision-making in his waking life. This nobleman, it seemed, had mastered the art of lucid dreaming, steering his nocturnal visions with the precision of a ship's captain navigating the stars. Intrigued, Cedric had begun to keep his own dream journal, determined to unlock the secrets within his subconscious. Yet tonight, as he sat by the flickering candlelight, he felt a strange unease, a sense that his dreams held more than mere figments of imagination. The diary he had been reading spoke of a hidden passage within the castle, a place where dreams and reality were said to converge. The words echoed in his mind, weaving a tapestry of suspense and possibility. Beyond the stone and shadow, where time and space entwine, lies the haven of the dreamwalkers. Seek it not with eyes of waking, but with the heart that dares to dream. The entry seemed to beckon him, urging him to embark on a journey beyond the confines of his chamber. With a determined resolve, Cedric rose from his desk, the soft rustle of his robes breaking the silence. He moved towards the door, driven by a curiosity that eclipsed his apprehension. As Cedric ventured through the winding corridors of the castle, the very air seemed to hum with anticipation. The flickering torches cast long shadows that danced along the stone walls, guiding him deeper into the heart of Eichenwald. His footsteps echoed softly, a rhythmic accompaniment to the whispers of the night. In the quiet solitude, Cedric recalled a tale his mother used to tell him as a child, about a secret chamber hidden within the castle. A place where dreams took form and whispered their truths to those who dared to listen. Could it be that such a place truly existed? And if so, what secrets would it reveal? The journey through the castle seemed endless, each corridor a labyrinth of history and memory. Yet, as Cedric reached the end of a particularly narrow passage, he noticed something peculiar. The wall before him bore the faint outline of a door, almost imperceptible in the dim light. His heart quickened as he approached, his fingers tracing the ancient stone. With a gentle push, the door swung open, revealing a hidden chamber bathed in the cool light of the moon. The room was unlike anything he had ever seen, its walls adorned with tapestries depicting celestial landscapes and ethereal beings. An ornate mirror stood in the center, its surface shimmering with an otherworldly glow. Cedric stepped inside, the air around him alive with a sense of anticipation. It was as if the room itself was waiting for him, ready to unveil its mysteries. He approached the mirror, his reflection gazing back at him with an intensity that seemed almost sentient. As he stared into its depths, he felt a strange sensation, as if the boundaries of reality were slowly dissolving. In that moment, he understood. This was the realm of the Dreamwalkers, a place where the dreams of the past and the present intertwined, revealing truths hidden from the waking world. Cedric closed his eyes, allowing the energy of the room to envelop him, and with a deep breath, he surrendered to the embrace of the dream. As the night stretched on, Lady Isolde and Lord Cedric embarked on their respective journeys, each guided by the whisper of their ancestors and the allure of the unknown. Their paths, though separate, were bound by the same thread of mystery and discovery, a testament to the enduring legacy of the noble sleep. In the gentle embrace of the night, the secrets of the past began to unravel, weaving a tale of intrigue and wonder that would echo through the corridors of Castle Eichenwald for generations to come. And as the first light of dawn began to paint the sky in hues of gold and rose, the castle stood silent, a guardian of dreams and the keeper of noble secrets. As the first light of dawn caressed the ancient stones of Castle Eichenwald, its inhabitants stirred, caught in the delicate balance between dreams and waking life. The air was thick with the scent of morning dew, mingling with the whispers of stories untold, as though the very walls of the castle were alive with the echoes of the night's revelations. In the chamber of Lady Isolde, the air was imbued with the soft glow of the rising sun. She lay still, her mind dancing on the fringes of sleep, a delicate tapestry of dreams woven with golden threads of the past. Her heart hummed with the secrets she had glimpsed, the forgotten rituals of her forebears unfurling like petals of a night-blooming flower. Her dreams had been a vivid journey through time, a kaleidoscope of customs and ceremonies that had once graced the bedrooms of nobility. She recalled the opulent silks and velvets that adorned the beds of medieval castles, each thread a testament to the wealth and status of its owner. But it was not just the richness of materials that captivated her. It was the stories they told, the whispered tales of nights spent in contemplation and intrigue beneath the canopy of stars. As Isolda's mind wandered, she found herself in a grand chamber, its walls adorned with tapestries that seemed to breathe with the flicker of candlelight. The bed was a fortress of plush pillows and embroidered covers, each stitch an echo of hands long past, crafting comfort from dreams. She could almost hear the rustle of gowns and the murmur of voices, a procession of noble figures passing through, each leaving behind a trace of their presence, a whisper of their dreams. In another corner of the castle, Lord Cedric awoke with a sense of purpose, the veil of his own dreams still clinging to his thoughts like morning mist. His night had been a journey through the labyrinth of time, guided by the spirits of those who had once walked the halls of Eichenwald. He had traversed the corridors of history, each step a dance with the shadows of his ancestors, their stories etched in the stone beneath his feet. His dreams had taken him to the boudoirs of the 18th century, where opulence and excess were the order of the day. He had marveled at the grandeur of beds draped in gold and crimson, the air heavy with the scent of exotic perfumes and the soft rustle of silken sheets. But beneath the surface of luxury lay a deeper mystery, a secret language spoken only in the hush of night, when the world was still and the heart could listen. Cedric's journey had revealed the peculiar sleep schedules of the nobility, their nights divided into segments of wakefulness and slumber, a dance of rest and reflection. He had watched as they indulged in midnight feasts and whispered conversations, their dreams a canvas of aspirations and desires painted in the solitude of the night. As the day unfolded, both Isolde and Cedric carried with them the weight of their dreams, a tapestry of secrets and insights that bound them to the legacy of their ancestors. The castle, too, seemed to hum with the energy of discovery, its shadows alive with the stories of the night, waiting to be woven into the fabric of history. With the sun climbing higher in the sky, Isolde and Cedric met in the great hall, their eyes alight with the shared knowledge of their journeys. The air between them crackled with the electricity of revelation, a bond forged in the realm of dreams, where the past and present danced in harmonious unity. Isolde spoke first, her voice a melody of wonder and awe. "Cedric, the dreams. They were unlike anything I've ever experienced. It was as though I was walking through the corridors of time, each step revealing the mysteries of our lineage." Cedric nodded, his expression one of shared understanding. "Indeed, Isolde, it seems the Dreamwalkers have granted us a glimpse into the past, a chance to unravel the secrets of our noble heritage. The customs, the rituals, they are a part of us, woven into the very fabric of who we are." Together, they shared the stories of their dreams, weaving a tapestry of history and tradition that spanned the ages. They spoke of the medieval castles, with their grand beds and intricate tapestries, the whispered echoes of knights and ladies lingering in the air. They marveled at the opulence of the 18th century boudoirs, where luxury and excess masked the deeper mysteries of the night. As the day wore on, the castle seemed to come alive with their discoveries, each room a chapter in the unfolding story of noble sleep. The servants moved quietly through the halls, their footsteps a soft symphony of purpose and duty, as though they, too, were part of the timeless dance of history. But amidst the beauty and wonder lay an undercurrent of suspense, a lingering question that tugged at the edges of their consciousness. What was the true purpose of these dreams? Why had the Dreamwalkers chosen this moment to reveal the secrets of the past? And what role were they, Isolde and Cedric, meant to play in this unfolding tale? As the shadows lengthened and the day gave way to the embrace of evening, Isolde and Cedric found themselves once more in the Chamber of Dreams. The air was thick with anticipation, the promise of further revelations hanging like a silken veil between them and the world of slumber. Together, they lay down upon the grand bed. Its covers a tapestry of history and mystery. The room seemed to hold its breath, the flicker of candlelight casting shadows that danced upon the walls, a silent waltz of past and present. As they surrendered to the embrace of sleep, the whispers of the dreamwalkers enveloped them, a chorus of voices echoing through the corridors of their minds. The secrets of noble sleep were not just stories of the past. They were a living legacy, a bridge between worlds, a testament to the enduring power of dreams. In the realm of the dreamwalkers, Isolde and Cedric would continue their journey, guided by the whispers of their ancestors and the allure of the unknown. And as the night deepened, the secrets of noble sleep would unfold, revealing the hidden truths that lay behind the closed doors of time. As Isolde and Cedric drifted further into the embrace of sleep, the fabric of reality seemed to unravel around them, threads of time and space weaving a new tapestry in their consciousness. They found themselves standing at the threshold of a grand medieval hall, its stone walls echoing with the distant clang of armor and the murmur of hushed voices. This was no ordinary dream. It was an invitation to traverse the annals of history, to witness firsthand the rituals that had defined the nightly repose of nobility. The hall was illuminated by torchlight, the flames casting a golden glow upon the faces of those gathered within. Noblemen and women, clad in rich fabrics, gathered around a central figure, a king whose presence commanded both reverence and curiosity. His bed was a marvel of craftsmanship, its wooden frame carved with intricate designs of mythical creatures and heroes of legend. The canopy above was draped with heavy velvet, dyed a deep royal blue, embroidered with silver stars that twinkled like the night sky. Isolde watched with fascination as attendants meticulously prepared the king's sleeping quarters. Each gesture was a ritual in itself, a choreography of precision and care. The sheets, spun from the finest linen, were smoothed with deliberate attention, while pillows stuffed with the down of swans were fluffed to perfection. A concoction of herbs and flowers, lavender, chamomile, and rose petals, was scattered across the bed, their fragrance mingling to create a soothing balm for the senses. Cedric felt a tug of recognition, as if the scene before them were a reflection of stories told and retold by Fireside in his youth. There was a timelessness to the moment, a glimpse into the past that transcended the boundaries of the dream. The king reclined upon the bed, his gaze fixed upon a tapestry that hung opposite, depicting a hunt for a majestic stag. It was a scene of triumph and challenge, a mirror of the nobility's own quest for mastery over the land and its mysteries. Yet, beneath the surface of opulence, there was an undercurrent of unease. The air hummed with the tension of secrets unspoken, of dreams that held the power to unearth truths too profound to be voiced in waking hours. Isolde and Cedric shared a glance, an unspoken understanding passing between them. They were not merely spectators. They were participants in a narrative that stretched beyond their own lives, a story woven into the very fabric of their being. The scene shifted, the medieval hall dissolving into the opulent grandeur of an 18th-century palace. Here, the room was suffused with the soft glow of candlelight, the flickering flames mirrored in the gilded mirrors that lined the walls. The air was perfumed with the scent of orange blossoms and jasmine, a fragrant testament to the indulgence of the era. A noblewoman stood at the center of the room, her gown a cascade of silk and lace, shimmering in the candlelight. Her bed was a vision of extravagance, adorned with delicate lace canopies and plush cushions in shades of ivory and gold. The attendants moved with the grace of dancers, their hands gliding over the bed linens as they prepared the sleeping sanctuary with meticulous care. Isolde observed the noblewoman's nightly routine, a series of elaborate rituals designed to ensure a restful slumber. A silver comb was drawn through her hair, each stroke a calming rhythm. A vial of scented oil was uncorked, its contents massaged into her temples and wrists, anointing her with the promise of peaceful dreams. The attendants withdrew, leaving her alone in the candlelit chamber, a solitary figure amidst the opulence. As the noblewoman settled into her bed, her eyes fluttering closed, Isolde sensed a shift in the atmosphere. The room seemed to pulse with the heartbeat of history, a living entity that whispered of lives once lived, of dreams both fulfilled and forsaken. The walls held the echoes of laughter and sorrow, the shadows cast by the flames bearing witness to the passage of time. Cedric felt a kinship with the noblewoman, an understanding of the solitude that accompanied such grandeur. In the silence of the night, amidst the luxury and the rituals, there was a yearning for connection, for dreams that transcended the confines of status and wealth. It was a reminder that beneath the trappings of nobility lay a shared humanity, a common thread that bound them to those who had come before. The dreamscape shifted once more, carrying Isolde and Cedric to a realm where time held no sway, a place where past and present coalesced into a single moment of clarity. They stood upon a threshold, the portal between worlds, where the whispers of the dreamwalkers mingled with the breath of the night. In this liminal space, the secrets of noble sleep unfurled like petals of a night-blooming flower, each revelation a testament to the enduring power of dreams. They saw the lineage of rituals, the evolution of customs that had shaped the nightly repose of nobility. From the medieval kings who sought solace in the embrace of legends, to the enlightened aristocrats who found peace amidst the opulence of their chambers, the journey of noble sleep was a tapestry woven with threads of mystery and wonder. Isolde and Cedric stood side by side, their hands entwined, as they gazed upon the panorama of history laid before them. The dreamwalkers had guided them through the corridors of time, revealing the unseen world that lay behind the closed doors of noble bedrooms. It was a journey that had awakened within them a deeper understanding of the interplay between dreams and reality, of the stories that lived on in the whispers of the night. As the first light of dawn began to paint the horizon with hues of gold and rose, Isolde and Cedric felt the embrace of the dream begin to loosen, the world of slumber gently releasing its hold. They awoke to the soft rustle of the morning breeze, the echoes of their journey lingering in the corners of their minds. Though the secrets of noble sleep were now part of their own story, the journey was far from over. The dreamwalkers had opened a door, inviting them to explore further, to delve deeper into the mysteries that lay within. And as they rose from the grand bed, the weight of history resting lightly upon their shoulders, Isolde and Cedric knew that the allure of the unknown would continue to call them back, to the world where dreams and reality danced in timeless harmony. As the glow of dawn cast its gentle light across the room, the opulence of their surroundings was revealed in soft, muted colors. The tapestries, depicting scenes of long-forgotten legends, seemed to come alive in the morning light, their woven figures caught mid-dance, mid-battle, mid-whisper. Each thread told a story, much like the tales Isolde and Cedric had discovered behind the closed doors of noble bedrooms. They had navigated the delicate threads of time, unraveling the mysteries of sleep, yet the fabric of their journey was still being woven. The air was sweet with the scent of lilacs drifting in through the open window, mingling with the earthy aroma of dew-kissed grass. It was a morning ripe with promise, the kind that suggested a world brimming with secrets waiting to be uncovered. Isolde stretched languidly, feeling the luxurious softness of the bed beneath her, a reminder of the comfort and extravagance that had marked their exploration into the sleeping quarters of the elite. Cedric, beside her, was already lost in thought, his gaze fixed on the ceiling where intricate plasterwork depicted celestial maps. The constellations, once guides for travelers of both land and dream, seemed to twinkle in the soft glow of dawn. "Azolda," he murmured, his voice still hushed with the remnants of sleep. "Do you ever wonder what it was like to sleep beneath these stars, with the weight of nobility upon you?" She smiled, a gentle curve of her lips. "I do. Each night, each dream, was a world of its own. A realm where the burdens of the waking world could momentarily dissolve, replaced by the dance of the subconscious." Her eyes sparkled with the thrill of discovery. And yet, it was also a time of vulnerability. The secrets of one's heart laid bare beneath the silken sheets and velvet canopies. Their conversation, soft as the morning light, was interrupted by a gentle knock at the door. It creaked open, revealing a kindly-faced woman dressed in the garb of a chambermaid. "Good morning, my lord, my lady," she greeted them with a respectful nod. "Breakfast will be served shortly in the dining hall. The master has asked me to remind you of the library tour he promised after your meal." Azolda and Cedric exchanged a glance, the prospect of more discoveries lighting a spark of anticipation within them. "Thank you," Cedric replied, his voice warm with gratitude. "We'll be down shortly." As the door closed behind the chambermaid, Azolda rose from the bed, her bare feet meeting the cool embrace of the marbled floor. She crossed to the window, leaning on the sill to take in the view beyond, a sprawling garden, its paths winding through a tapestry of flowers and hedges. A world meticulously arranged, much like the lives of those who had once slept behind these walls. Cedric joined her, slipping his hand into hers. "What do you suppose we'll find today?" he asked, his eyes scanning the horizon where the sun now hung, a golden orb in the morning sky. "More than we expect, I imagine," she replied, her voice a soft melody. "Every corner of this place whispers of stories untold, secrets waiting to be unveiled." With a shared sense of purpose, they dressed in the garments of the day, attire befitting guests in such a grand estate. Cedric donned a tailored coat, its fabric rich and dark, while Azolda chose a gown of deep burgundy, its hem brushing the floor with each step. They were ready to continue their journey, to follow the path laid before them by the Dreamwalkers. The dining hall was a testament to the grandeur of the estate, its vaulted ceilings adorned with frescoes that depicted scenes from antiquity. The table, long and polished to a mirror-like sheen, was set for a feast. Platters of fruits, breads, and pastries beckoned, their aromas mingling in a symphony of scents. Their host, an elderly gentleman with a twinkle in his eye and a scholarly air, greeted them with a warm smile. "Ah, my esteemed guests," he said, his voice carrying the warmth of a sunlit room. "I trust you slept well? The chambers you occupied have a history as rich as the dreams they've witnessed." Cedric nodded, his curiosity piqued. "Indeed, sir, the stories of noble sleep are as fascinating as they are intricate. We are eager to learn more." The gentleman chuckled, a sound like rustling leaves. "Then you shall not be disappointed. But first, let us sat the body's hunger before we embark on feeding the mind." As they dined, the conversation flowed like a gentle brook, meandering through topics of history, art, and the curious customs of sleep. Their host was a wellspring of knowledge, each anecdote a captivating tale that added another layer to the tapestry of their understanding. With breakfast concluded, they made their way to the library, a sanctuary of knowledge housed within the estate. The room was a cathedral of books, towering shelves reaching up to a ceiling painted with clouds and cherubs. Sunlight streamed through stained glass windows, casting a kaleidoscope of colors across the polished wooden floor. Their host gestured to a particular section of the library, where ancient tomes rested alongside more recent volumes. Here you will find records of the sleeping habits of nobility through the ages, he explained. A curious collection, to be sure, but within these pages, you may find answers to questions you have yet to ask. Isolde and Cedric exchanged a look of shared excitement, their hearts quickening with the thrill of discovery. They began to explore the shelves, their fingers tracing the spines of books that promised to unlock the mysteries of the past. As they delved into the pages, they found themselves transported to different eras, each with its own peculiar customs and beliefs regarding sleep. The medieval lords who adhered to strict schedules, guided by the ringing of bells that marked the passage of time. The Renaissance nobles who believed in the power of dreams to divine the future, seeking guidance from the stars and the interpretation of their visions. The 18th century aristocrats who indulged in opulent bedding and elaborate rituals, their nights a blend of luxury and superstition. With each turn of the page, Isolde and Cedric discovered more than just the habits of sleep. They unearthed the very essence of humanity's timeless relationship with the night. The fears and hopes, the vulnerabilities and desires, all laid bare beneath the moonlit canopy of dreams. Hours slipped by unnoticed, the sun inching its way across the sky outside. The library, with its quietude and the comforting presence of books, became a cocoon, enveloping them in a world where time seemed to hold its breath. Finally, as the afternoon light began to wane, they paused, their minds brimming with newfound knowledge. Cedric leaned back, stretching his arms above his head. "Isolde," he said, a smile playing at the corners of his lips, "what do you make of it all? This dance between the conscious and the subconscious, between reality and the realm of dreams?" She considered his question, her gaze thoughtful. "I think," she began slowly, "that sleep is not just a necessity but a gateway. A bridge that connects us to stories untold, to parts of ourselves we may not understand while awake. It's as if each dream is a thread in a greater tapestry, weaving together the fabric of our lives." Cedric nodded, his expression serene. "And perhaps," he added, "the customs and rituals are not merely about comfort or tradition, but about seeking meaning in the mystery of it all." Their conversation lingered in the air like a soft melody, resonating with the quiet wisdom of the ages. As they prepared to leave the library, their hearts were light with the promise of continued exploration, the allure of the unknown drawing them ever onward. As they stepped out into the fading light of day, the estate around them seemed to shimmer with the stories it held, a timeless monument to the curious customs of sleep. The journey was far from over, and with each step, Isolde and Cedric knew they were not merely uncovering the past but also weaving their own tale into the tapestry of history. The twilight descended like a gentle embrace, wrapping the estate in a cloak of shadows and whispers. The air was tinged with the earthy scent of nightfall, a delicate perfume that seemed to hold within it the secrets of ancient slumbers. Isolde and Cedric walked side by side, their footsteps silent on the cobblestone path leading away from the library, their minds alight with the echoes of all they had uncovered. As the horizon bled into the inky depths of night, the grand manor house loomed before them, its silhouette a sentinel guarding the dreams of those who had once called it home. The windows glinted like watchful eyes, and the walls seemed to hum with the energy of bygone eras. There was a palpable sense of presence, as if the very stones were alive with stories waiting to be told. They entered the manor through a side door, the creak of the old hinges a familiar refrain. Inside, the air was cool and still, and the dim light from the sconces cast flickering shadows that danced across the ornate tapestries lining the walls. These woven masterpieces depicted scenes of pastoral bliss, of hunts and harvests, of knights and fair maidens, a visual chronicle of lives lived in the embrace of tradition and luxury. Their path led them to the East Wing, a part of the manor less frequented in modern times. The corridor here was narrower, the ceiling lower, giving it an intimate feel. It was lined with portraits of stern-faced ancestors, their gazes following Isolde and Cedric with an intensity that suggested they knew more than they let on. It was as if these silent watchers were guardians of the secrets they sought. Their goal was a particular chamber, long rumored to hold remnants of the most peculiar customs of noble sleep. The door was heavy, its wood darkened with age, and as Cedric turned the handle, it swung open with a groan that seemed to echo through the ages. The room was a sanctuary of opulence, a testament to the lavishness with which the nobility had once indulged their slumber. The centerpiece was an enormous canopy bed, draped in luxurious silks that shimmered like liquid moonlight. The bed was a masterpiece, its posts carved with intricate motifs of vines and mythical creatures, its headboard inlaid with mother-of-pearl that caught the light in a dance of iridescent colors. Isolde approached the bed with a sense of reverence, her fingers brushing the fabric as if greeting an old friend. "Imagine the dreams that must have been dreamt here," she whispered, her voice barely more than a breath. Cedric nodded, his gaze tracing the lines of the carvings. "And the rituals that must have preceded those dreams," he added, his voice filled with wonder. Indeed, the room was a testament to the lengths to which the nobility had gone to ensure their sleep was not just restful but an experience unto itself. At the foot of the bed stood a small altar, its surface cluttered with artifacts that spoke of nightly rituals: crystal vials of scented oils, silver bowls for ablutions, and ornate candelabras with half-burnt candles whose wax had dripped like frozen tears. But it was the tapestry on the far wall that drew their attention, a masterwork of artistry that seemed to pulse with life. It depicted a scene of a noble couple, their faces serene in repose, surrounded by celestial bodies and ethereal beings. The scene suggested a belief that sleep was not merely a biological necessity but a sacred journey, a brief escape into the divine. Isolde's eyes lingered on the tapestry, her thoughts drifting to the customs they had discovered. "It's as if they believed that the boundary between our world and the other was thinnest during sleep," she mused. "And that perhaps, by honoring the process, they could glimpse what lay beyond." Cedric's gaze was drawn to a curious object on a nearby table, a journal bound in rich leather, its pages yellowed with age. He picked it up with care, feeling the weight of the years in his hands. As he opened it, the scent of old parchment filled the air, and he began to read aloud, the words abridged to a world long past. The journal was a treasure trove of insights, detailing the nightly rituals of a countess who had once slept in this very room. Her writing spoke of elaborate preparations, of meditations and prayers, of the precise placement of charms and talismans to ward off nightmares and invite prophetic visions. Each entry was a window into a mind seeking to control the uncontrollable, to find order in the chaos of dreams. Isolde listened, the melody of Cedric's voice weaving with the rhythm of her own thoughts. She could almost see the Countess, her hair unbound and flowing like a river, her eyes closed in a trance as she prepared to journey into the world of sleep. It was a ritual steeped in mystery, a dance between the known and the unknown, a testament to the human desire to transcend the boundaries of the physical world. As Cedric read on, he came across a passage that made him pause, his voice faltering for a moment. It spoke of a recurring dream, vivid and haunting, of a faceless figure standing at the edge of a forest, beckoning with an outstretched hand. The Countess had described it in detail, her words imbued with both fear and fascination. "It's as if she was being called to something," Cedric said, his brow furrowed in contemplation. "But what?" Isolde pondered this, her gaze distant as she considered the possibilities. Perhaps it was a part of herself she had yet to understand, she suggested. Or perhaps it was a glimpse of a future she couldn't yet fathom. The room around them seemed to hold its breath, as if waiting for their next move. They lingered a moment longer, absorbing the stories etched into the very fabric of the place, before carefully placing the journal back on the table. As they exited the chamber, the air felt charged with possibility. The night was still young, and the manor was a labyrinth of secrets waiting to be uncovered. Their journey through the curious customs of Noble Sleep had only just begun, and with each step, they felt the thrill of discovery, the promise of the unknown. The corridor stretched before them, a path lined with history, and as they walked, they knew they were not alone. They were accompanied by the echoes of those who had come before, by the dreams and desires of a time long past. And in that moment, they felt a kinship with the noble dreamers, a connection that transcended the ages. With hearts alight with curiosity and spirits buoyed by the allure of mystery, Isolde and Cedric continued their exploration, knowing that each door they opened would bring them closer to understanding the enigmatic world of Noble Sleep, and perhaps, to understanding a little more about themselves. The manor whispered around them, its stone walls holding tight to the secrets of centuries. Isolde and Cedric moved with careful steps, their senses attuned to the subtle symphony of the old mansion. The creak of wooden floorboards, the faint rustle of tapestries brushing against the cool night air, the distant hoot of an owl, a nocturnal sentinel watching over their quest. As they ventured deeper into the heart of the manor, the corridors seemed to stretch and curve in ways that defied logic, as though they were navigating a living entity that shifted and shaped itself around their presence. The flickering glow of their lantern cast dancing shadows, forming fleeting patterns on the stone walls, like phantoms of history eager to tell their tales. Their path led them to a grand staircase, its banister polished to a sheen by countless hands that had gripped it over the years. The steps creaked underfoot, each one a note in the manor's nocturnal sonata. As they ascended, the air grew cooler, tinged with the faint scent of lavender and beeswax, a reminder of the meticulous care that had preserved this place for posterity. At the top of the staircase, a heavy wooden door awaited them. Its surface was intricately carved with scenes of knights and ladies, a tableau of chivalry frozen in time. Cedric ran his fingers over the carvings, feeling the grooves and contours, as though seeking to absorb the stories etched into the wood. Isolde, meanwhile, held the lantern aloft, her eyes tracing the details, her imagination painting the scenes in vivid hues. With a shared glance, they pushed the door open, revealing a chamber draped in opulence. The room was dominated by an enormous four-poster bed, its canopy a cascade of rich velvet, deep burgundy in the dim light. Golden tassels hung from the corners, catching the gleam of the lantern's glow. The bed was a masterpiece of craftsmanship, its headboard carved with intricate designs that told stories of romance and valor. Isolde approached the bed, drawn to its lavishness, and ran her fingers over the silken sheets, marveling at their softness. Imagine, she mused, lying here, surrounded by such splendor, drifting into dreams woven with the threads of luxury. Cedric joined her, his eyes alight with wonder. "It's as if the bed itself were a portal to another realm," he said, "a place where the dreams of nobility took form, where their hopes and fears played out in the theater of the mind." Together, they explored the room, uncovering the artifacts of a bygone era. On a nearby table lay a collection of delicate glass bottles, their contents long evaporated, but their scents still lingering like ghosts. Each bottle was labeled in elegant script, promising soothing slumbers or vivid dreams, potions concocted to guide the dreamer through the night. In a corner, a grand wardrobe stood sentinel, its doors slightly ajar, revealing garments of silks and brocades, garments that had once adorned the noble occupants of this chamber. Isolde rifled through the fabrics, her fingers brushing over embroidery and lace, imagining the lives of those who had worn these clothes, the stories they carried within their folds. As they delved deeper into the room, Cedric's gaze was drawn to a small, inconspicuous door half hidden behind a tapestry. With a nod to Isolde, he approached it, curiosity piqued. The door, though unassuming, seemed to pulse with an energy of its own, as if guarding something precious. With a gentle push, the door swung open, revealing a narrow passageway that led into darkness. The air here was different, tinged with a musty scent that spoke of age and abandonment. The walls were lined with old stone, rough-hewn and cool to the touch, and the passage seemed to beckon them onward, a siren's call to the intrepid explorers. Lantern in hand, they ventured into the passage, the light casting elongated shadows that danced along the walls. Their footsteps echoed in the confined space, a rhythmic counterpoint to the pounding of their hearts. The passage twisted and turned, a labyrinthine path that seemed to lead them ever deeper into the heart of the manor. At last, they emerged into a small, hidden chamber, its existence a secret known only to those who dared to seek it. The room was sparsely furnished, its walls bare save for a single tapestry that depicted a starry sky, the constellations rendered in silver thread. In the center of the room stood a simple wooden bed, its frame worn and unadorned, a stark contrast to the opulence of the chamber they had left behind. Isolde approached the bed, her footsteps tentative. "This place," she whispered, "it's like a sanctuary, a refuge from the grandeur of the world outside." Cedric nodded, his gaze fixed on the tapestry. Perhaps this was where the nobility came to find solace, he suggested. A place where they could be themselves, away from the expectations and demands of their station. They lingered in the chamber, the silence wrapping around them like a comforting cloak. The air was thick with the weight of secrets, and yet, there was a tranquility here, a sense of peace that invited reflection and introspection. As they turned to leave, Isolde paused, her eyes lingering on the tapestry. "Do you think," she asked, "that the dreams of those who slept here were different from the dreams born of opulence? That perhaps, in this humble space, they found a deeper truth?" Cedric considered her words, the question hanging in the air like a note of music that resonated long after it had been struck. "I believe," he said slowly, "that dreams are shaped by the heart, not the surroundings. But perhaps, in a place like this, they found the freedom to dream without constraint, to explore the depths of their own souls." With a shared understanding, they retraced their steps, the passage leading them back to the chamber of opulence, the world of noble sleep once more enveloping them. The manor, with its myriad rooms and corridors, awaited them still, a treasure trove of mysteries to unravel. As they walked, the echoes of their exploration followed them, a gentle reminder of the lives that had once animated these walls. And as they continued their journey, they carried with them the stories of those who had come before, the noble dreamers who had sought solace and inspiration in the quiet sanctuary of sleep. The corridors of the manor seemed to stretch into infinity, each step a whisper of the past, each door a gateway to an era long gone. Cedric and Alara moved with a silent accord, their shared curiosity pushing them forward, deeper into the labyrinth of history. As they wandered, the manor revealed its secrets in layers, like a delicate tapestry unfurling to reveal the intricacies of its design. They came upon a series of rooms, each more lavish than the last, where the nobility had once laid their weary heads. The air was thick with stories, each breath a reminder of the lives lived within these walls. In one chamber, they discovered a bed canopied with silk, the fabric still vibrant despite the passage of time. The bed was a masterpiece, carved with scenes of mythical creatures and entwined lovers. Cedric ran his fingers over the carvings, feeling the grooves where skilled hands had once labored with care and devotion. This bed, Alara mused, must have belonged to someone of great importance. Imagine the dreams spun in a place like this, surrounded by such beauty. Cedric nodded, his mind tracing the line between grandeur and solitude. And yet, even in all this opulence, they were alone in their dreams. Their exploration took them to a room where the walls were lined with tapestries depicting nighttime scenes, moonlit forests and starlit skies. Here, the bed was less grand, but the air was heavy with a different kind of magic. A small book lay on the bedside table, its pages yellowed with age. Alara picked it up with reverence, her fingers tracing the faded ink. "It's a dream journal," she whispered, her voice tinged with awe. "Look, they've recorded their dreams here, each one a fragment of their soul." Cedric peered over her shoulder, reading the elegant script that spoke of midnight wanderings and shadowy figures, of dreams that danced on the edge of reality. "These dreams are like windows into their hearts," he said, a glimpse of their innermost desires and fears. They lingered in the room, the echoes of old dreams swirling around them like a gentle breeze. It was as if the manor itself was breathing, each room a lung drawing in the stories of the past, holding them close. As they moved on, the corridors seemed to narrow, the air growing cooler, as if they were descending into the depths of the manor's memory. They came upon a staircase, its steps worn smooth by the passage of time. It spiraled downward, leading them into the shadows. With each step, the air grew thicker, the silence more profound. The walls seemed to close in around them, the weight of history pressing down. Yet, there was a thrill in the air, a sense of anticipation that quickened their hearts. At the bottom of the stairs, they found themselves in a chamber unlike any they had seen before. It was a cavernous space, the ceiling lost in shadow. The walls were lined with stone, their surfaces etched with ancient symbols that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. In the center of the room stood a bed, its frame wrought from iron and draped with heavy, dark fabric. It was a stark contrast to the opulence above, yet there was a beauty in its simplicity, a power in its presence. Alara walked to the bed, her footsteps echoing in the silence. "This must have been a place of retreat," she said softly, "a sanctuary for those who needed to escape the trappings of their world." Cedric joined her, his eyes tracing the lines of the symbols on the walls. "It's as if this room was built for dreaming," he said, "a place where the veil between worlds was thin." They lingered there, the weight of history settling around them like a cloak. It was a place of mystery, a space where the boundaries of reality blurred, and the dreams of the noble sleepers took on a life of their own. As they stood there, a faint sound reached their ears, a whisper of music that seemed to come from the very walls themselves. It was a haunting melody, one that spoke of lost love and forgotten dreams, of the passage of time and the endurance of the soul. Alara's eyes met Cedric's, a shared understanding passing between them. "Do you hear it?" she asked, her voice barely more than a breath. Cedric nodded, his heart beating in time with the music. "It's as if the manor itself is singing," he said, "a lullaby for those who have come and gone, a reminder that even in sleep, we are never truly alone." They stood together in the chamber, the music wrapping around them like a gentle embrace. It was a moment suspended in time, a reminder of the enduring power of dreams and the mysteries that lay hidden in the depths of the night. As the last notes faded into silence, they turned to leave, the spell of the room still lingering in the air. The manor seemed to sigh around them, the echoes of their exploration following them as they made their way back to the world above. With each step, the air grew lighter, the shadows retreating as they climbed back into the light. The corridors welcomed them once more, the familiar opulence of the noble world enfolding them in its embrace. Yet, as they walked, the memory of the shadowed chamber lingered in their minds, a reminder of the hidden depths of the manor and the secrets it kept close. As they emerged into the warmth of the upper floors, Cedric turned to Alara, a smile playing on his lips. "I think we've only just begun to uncover the mysteries of this place," he said, his voice tinged with excitement. Alara laughed, the sound bright and clear in the stillness. "And I'm eager to see where this journey takes us next," she replied, her eyes shining with anticipation. Together, they continued their exploration, their footsteps guided by the stories whispered through the ages. With each room, each corridor, they uncovered more of the manor's secrets, the layers of history peeling back to reveal the lives and dreams of those who had come before. In their hearts, they carried the echoes of the noble dreamers, the stories of love and loss, of hope and despair. And as they walked, they knew that the journey was far from over, that the manor still held many more mysteries waiting to be revealed. The manor seemed alive, breathing softly beneath the layers of time that had settled upon it. Cedric and Alara moved with a gentle reverence through the corridors, their senses attuned to the echoes of the past that lingered in the air like whispers on the wind. They entered a room that seemed almost untouched by the present, its opulence a testament to the grandeur of a bygone era. The bed, draped in rich velvet and silk, stood as the centerpiece, a magnificent four-poster, its canopy adorned with intricate embroidery. It was easy to imagine the noble lord or lady who had once reclined there, cradled in luxury as the world outside continued its relentless march. Cedric approached the bed, running his fingers lightly over the fabric, feeling the history woven into each thread. "Imagine the dreams that were dreamt here," he mused, his voice barely above a whisper. Alara nodded, her gaze drifting to the ornate tapestry that decorated the wall. It depicted a serene garden scene, yet upon closer inspection, she noticed that hidden among the blooms were scenes of strife and conflict, a reminder of the complex lives led by those who once inhabited this place. "Their dreams were perhaps not so different from ours," she remarked, filled with hopes and fears, desires and regrets. As they moved to another chamber, a sense of anticipation hung in the air, as if the very walls held their breath, waiting to reveal their secrets. This room was smaller, more intimate, with a bed low to the ground and simple in design. The air carried a faint scent of lavender, a soothing balm against the encroaching night. Alara noticed a small book on the bedside table, its cover worn but its pages well kept. She picked it up, and as she opened it, the delicate script inside revealed itself to be a collection of nightly rituals and reflections. Each entry was a glimpse into the mind of a noblewoman who had once called this room her sanctuary. She wrote about her dreams, Alara said softly, sharing the words with Cedric. Of journeys to distant lands, of stars that spoke and guided her through darkness. Cedric leaned closer, captivated. Perhaps she found solace in the stars when the world below offered none. Together, they read the entries, each one a window into a soul that had long since departed, yet lingered in the words left behind. The noblewoman's reflections were filled with a yearning for freedom, a desire to transcend the confines of her world and reach for something greater. As they turned the final page, the last entry ended with a simple plea: "May my dreams find wings and carry me beyond these walls." The words resonated deeply, and for a moment, the room seemed to shimmer with the weight of unfulfilled dreams. Cedric and Alara stood in silence, feeling the connection across time, the shared humanity that bound them to those who had walked these halls before. Their exploration continued, taking them to a grand salon where the ceiling soared high above, painted with scenes of myth and legend. Here, the nobles had gathered, mingling under the watchful eyes of gods and heroes. The room was filled with echoes of laughter and music, the air thick with the scent of perfumed oils and candle wax. In a corner, they discovered a peculiar chair, its design unlike any they had seen before. It was a contraption of wood and leather, with gears and levers that suggested a purpose beyond mere seating. Intrigued, Cedric inspected it closely, his curiosity piqued. This must have been one of those devices they used to aid sleep, he surmised, recalling tales of peculiar inventions crafted to ensure restful nights for the nobility. Alara joined him, her fingers tracing the contours of the chair. "A mechanical lullaby," she said with a smile, imagining the gentle rocking motion that might have lulled a restless mind to slumber. They activated the device, and to their delight, it began a slow, rhythmic sway, accompanied by the soft hum of hidden mechanisms. The sensation was soothing, a gentle caress that seemed to cradle them in a timeless embrace. As they rested in the chair's embrace, the room seemed to dissolve around them, leaving them suspended in a dreamlike state where past and present intertwined. They could almost hear the whispers of those who had sat here before, their voices carried on the currents of time. In this state of tranquility, Cedric and Alara pondered the customs of noble sleep, the rituals that had been woven into the fabric of their lives. From the elaborate preparations to the silent prayers, each gesture was a testament to the importance placed on rest and rejuvenation. Yet, beneath the surface, there was an undercurrent of tension, a reminder that even in the most opulent surroundings, true peace was elusive. The nobles had sought comfort in their rituals, but they were not immune to the fears and uncertainties that plagued all of humanity. Their reverie was interrupted by a soft chime, a reminder of the passing time. Reluctantly, they left the chair and continued their journey, guided by the unseen hand of fate. Their exploration led them to a secluded garden, hidden away from the grandiosity of the manor. Here, nature reigned supreme, the foliage lush and vibrant, illuminated by the soft glow of the moon. The air was cool and fragrant, a balm for the soul. In the center of the garden stood a sundial, its shadow cast long and thin in the moonlight. Around it, flowers bloomed in silent tribute to the night, their petals unfurling in delicate array. Alara knelt beside the sundial, her fingers brushing the cool stone. "It's beautiful," she said, her voice a whisper in the night. A reminder that time flows even in the stillness. Cedric joined her, the tranquility of the garden wrapping around them like a comforting embrace. Perhaps it was here that the nobles found their true respite, he suggested, away from the burdens of their titles and the expectations of their world. As they sat together, the garden seemed to come alive, the rustle of leaves and the chirping of crickets creating a symphony of nature. It was a gentle reminder of the cycle of life, the ebb and flow that governed all things. In this moment, Cedric and Alara felt a sense of peace, a connection to the noble souls who had sought solace in this hidden sanctuary. They realized that despite the passage of time, the essence of the human experience remained unchanged. And as they lingered in the garden, the mysteries of the manor continued to unfold around them, each revelation a step closer to understanding the secrets of noble sleep and the lives that had been woven into its tapestry. Their journey was far from over, but in the stillness of the night, they found comfort in the knowledge that they were not alone, that the echoes of the past would guide them on their path. And so, with hearts full of wonder and anticipation, they prepared to uncover the next chapter of their adventure, knowing that the manor still held many more secrets waiting to be revealed. As dawn's first light began to paint the horizon with strokes of gold and lavender, Cedric and Alara reluctantly left the garden's embrace, their minds still swirling with thoughts of the past and its whispers. The manor, with its time-worn walls and ornate carvings, seemed to pulse with a life of its own, beckoning them to delve deeper into its storied past. Their next destination was the grand bedroom wing, where centuries of noble sleepers had once laid their heads. As they navigated the labyrinthine corridors, the air grew cooler, the stone floors beneath their feet echoing with each step like muted drumbeats in an ancient march. The scent of aged wood and faded perfumes lingered, a sensory tapestry woven from countless lives lived within these walls. Finally, they arrived at a set of double doors, their surfaces adorned with intricate carvings of mythical creatures and floral motifs. Cedric, ever the gentleman, pushed the doors open with a gentle creak, revealing a room that was both opulent and enigmatic. The chamber was a study in contrasts. Heavy velvet drapes, the color of midnight, hung from towering windows, casting deep shadows that played across the room. A massive four-poster bed dominated the space, its canopy embroidered with golden threads depicting celestial scenes. The bed itself was an artifact of wonder, with its feather-stuffed mattress and silken sheets that whispered of indulgent nights. As they entered, a sense of awe washed over them. Here, in this room, generations of nobles had dreamed their dreams, conspired their schemes, and found respite from the burdens of their rank. The room was a silent witness to their triumphs and tragedies, and now, it opened its secrets to Cedric and Alara. Alara moved towards the bed, her fingers brushing against the fabric of the canopy. Imagine the stories this room could tell, she mused, her voice barely above a whisper. The lives that have intertwined here, the decisions made in the stillness of night. Cedric nodded, his gaze drawn to the fireplace where the remnants of a fire lay cold and gray. It's as if time has paused, leaving behind only echoes, he said. But somewhere within these echoes, there must be clues to the customs that shaped their lives, their very identities. As if in response to Cedric's words, a slight breeze stirred the heavy drapes, revealing a glimpse of a hidden alcove behind them. Intrigued, they crossed the room, the drapes parting like a curtain on a stage to reveal yet another layer of the manor's mysteries. The alcove housed an intricately carved wardrobe, its doors slightly ajar as if inviting exploration. Inside, a collection of garments hung in delicate repose, their colors faded but their elegance undimmed. Each piece was a testament to the fashion and finery that had once graced the nobility, whispering of balls attended, alliances forged, and whispered conversations in candlelit corners. Alara reached for a gown, her fingers tracing the delicate lace that adorned its collar. These must have been part of their nighttime rituals, she speculated. Perhaps they had specific attire for their evening routines, garments that signified the transition from the public persona to the private self. Cedric, meanwhile, had discovered a hidden compartment within the wardrobe, its contents revealing the more intimate aspects of noble life. A collection of exquisite nightcaps, delicately embroidered with familial crests, lay nestled within, alongside vials of fragrant oils and balms. Each item was a clue, a piece of the puzzle that painted a portrait of lives lived in the quiet hours of the night. Their sleep must have been a carefully curated experience, Cedric said, examining a nightcap with a thoughtful expression. Every element chosen with purpose, each detail contributing to the rituals that governed their rest. Their exploration was interrupted by a soft rustling sound, like paper against paper. Curious, Alara followed the sound to a small writing desk tucked into a corner of the room. There, Amidst the clutter of quills and parchment, she found a letter, its edges yellowed with age yet its script remarkably legible. With a glance at Cedric, she unfolded the letter and began to read. The words, penned in an elegant hand, spoke of dreams and aspirations, of fears and hopes that transcended time. It was a letter from a noblewoman to her confidant, detailing the challenges of her role and the solace she found in the simple act of retiring to her chamber each night. "This is a glimpse into their world," Alara said, her voice tinged with wonder. A world where the trappings of nobility were both a blessing and a burden, where the confines of duty were softened by the refuge of sleep. As they absorbed the poignancy of the letter, the room seemed to close in around them, its secrets wrapping them in a tapestry of history and humanity. The noblewoman's words resonated with them, a poignant reminder of the shared experience of seeking solace in the quiet moments between dusk and dawn. With the letter safely returned to its resting place, Cedric and Alara lingered a moment longer, absorbing the room's essence before stepping back into the corridor. Their minds were alive with possibilities, each revelation a stepping stone toward a deeper understanding of the customs that defined noble sleep. As they continued their exploration, the manor revealed its secrets with a gentle insistence, each room a chapter in a story still unfolding. They discovered chambers adorned with murals depicting celestial bodies, a nod to the belief that the stars held sway over the dreams of the slumbering. In another room, they found an array of peculiar instruments, designed to capture the essence of moonlight, believed to enhance the quality of rest. Their journey took them to the manor's library, where dusty tomes lined the shelves, their spines bearing titles that hinted at the scholarly pursuits of the manor's inhabitants. Here, they found volumes dedicated to the art of sleep, each text a testament to the noble's fascination with achieving the perfect night's rest. As the day waned, Cedric and Alara found themselves in a room unlike any other. It was a chamber of light and air, its walls adorned with mirrors that caught the fading sunlight and scattered it like shards of gold. The room was a sanctuary, a space where the boundaries between the corporeal and the ethereal blurred. In the center of the room stood a chaise longue, its upholstery a rich tapestry of blues and silvers. It was here that the nobles had retreated for moments of contemplation, a place where the cares of the world could be set aside, even if just for a fleeting instant. Cedric and Alara settled into the room's tranquil embrace, their thoughts a symphony of past and present. They had journeyed through time, guided by the remnants of lives once lived, and in doing so, had uncovered the essence of noble sleep. Their adventure was far from over, but in this moment of reflection, they felt a profound connection to the souls who had walked these halls before them. The mysteries of the manor were not just stories of the past. They were threads woven into the fabric of their own lives, a reminder that the quest for understanding was a journey without end. And as they sat in the room of light, the shadows lengthening with the setting sun, they knew that the manor still held many more secrets, waiting to be unveiled by those willing to listen to the whispers of history. The room, drenched in a soft, ethereal glow, seemed to breathe with the rhythms of the past. Shadows danced along the walls, tracing stories in their unending waltz, while the air held a delicate fragrance of lavender, a scent that seemed to transcend time itself. Cedric and Alara, nestled amidst the plush cushions of the chaise longue, allowed themselves to be enveloped by the tranquility, their minds wandering through the corridors of memory and imagination. The manor, with its labyrinthine passages and hidden alcoves, was more than a mere structure. It was a living entity, a repository of countless tales of grandeur and intrigue. Each room they had explored whispered secrets of the lives it had sheltered, from the whispered plots of political machinations to the tender lullabies sung in the quiet of night. The nobles who once roamed these halls had left behind echoes of their existence, impressions that lingered like the fading notes of a haunting melody. As the light continued to shift, painting the room in hues of gold and amber, Cedric found himself drawn to the intricacies of the tapestries adorning the walls. Each thread seemed to tell a story, a vivid portrayal of the customs and rituals that had defined noble life through the ages. Alara, too, felt the pull of history, her fingers lightly tracing the delicate patterns embroidered in the fabric. "Do you ever wonder," she mused softly, "what it was like to live a life dictated by such rituals? To have your days and nights orchestrated by tradition and expectation?" Cedric nodded, his gaze fixed on a particularly elaborate scene depicting a noble couple in repose, their expressions serene. "I think there's a beauty in it," he replied thoughtfully. "A rhythm that, while perhaps restrictive, also offered a sense of order and purpose. But I also imagine it could be stifling, like living in a gilded cage." Alara smiled, her mind drifting to the stories they had uncovered, the myriad ways in which the nobility had sought solace and sanctuary within their private chambers. From the medieval lords and ladies who had slept amidst the cold stone walls of their castles, cocooned in layers of furs, to the Renaissance aristocrats who had embraced the luxury of opulent four-posters draped in sumptuous silks, each era had its own unique customs, its own stories to tell. Their exploration had revealed not just the physical trappings of noble sleep, but the intangible rituals that had accompanied it. The evening prayers whispered in dimly lit chapels, the soothing strains of a lute played softly in the background, the gentle touch of a servant ensuring every comfort was attended to. These were the unseen elements, the threads that wove together the tapestry of noble life. And yet, amid the elegance and extravagance, there were also hints of vulnerability, moments when the facade of nobility had cracked, revealing the human hearts that beat beneath. The letters and diaries they had discovered spoke of restless nights, of fears and doubts that no amount of wealth could assuage. They were reminders that, despite the layers of societal expectations, the nobles were, at their core, as human as any other, subject to the same dreams and desires, the same fears and failings. As these reflections settled over them, the room seemed to grow warmer, as if the past itself were reaching out to offer comfort. Cedric and Alara felt a kinship with those who had come before, an understanding that transcended the boundaries of time. It was a connection forged through shared experiences, a testament to the universality of the human condition. But the manor, with its secrets and mysteries, was not yet ready to relinquish its hold on them. There were still rooms unexplored, stories untold, and as the shadows continued to lengthen, a sense of anticipation hung in the air. "Shall we continue?" Cedric asked, his voice a gentle invitation to delve deeper into the enigma that was the manor. Alara nodded, her curiosity rekindled. "Yes, let's see what else this place has to reveal." They rose from their seats, leaving the room of light behind, its warmth lingering like a comforting embrace. With each step they took, the floorboards creaked softly beneath their feet, a reminder of the countless others who had traversed these same pathways. Their journey led them through a narrow corridor, the walls lined with portraits of stern-faced ancestors, their eyes seeming to follow them with each movement. There was a sense of watchfulness here, as if the very walls were aware of their presence, urging them onward. As they turned a corner, they found themselves facing a door unlike any they had encountered before. It was intricately carved, its surface adorned with delicate motifs that seemed to depict celestial bodies, stars and moons entwined in a cosmic dance. The door seemed to pulse with a quiet energy, as if it held within it the secrets of the universe. Cedric and Alara exchanged a glance, a shared understanding passing between them. Whatever lay beyond this door was significant, a piece of the puzzle that would bring them closer to the heart of the manor's mysteries. With a deep breath, Cedric reached for the handle, its cool metal smooth beneath his fingers. The door swung open with a soft groan, revealing a room bathed in the softest twilight, its walls adorned with deep blue draperies that mimicked the night sky. A canopy bed stood at the center, its gossamer curtains billowing gently with the movement of the air. As they stepped inside, a sense of calm enveloped them, a serenity that seemed to emanate from the very walls. It was a room designed for contemplation, for dreams and desires to take flight on the wings of imagination. Alara moved to the bed, her fingers trailing along the edge of the canopy. "It's beautiful," she breathed, her voice barely above a whisper. "There's something timeless about it, as if it exists outside the bounds of reality." Cedric nodded, his gaze drawn to a small table near the window, upon which rested an ornate journal, its pages yellowed with age. He picked it up carefully, the leather cover soft and worn, and opened it to reveal a spidery script, the words dancing across the page like a symphony of thoughts. The journal belonged to a noblewoman, a lady of the court who had chronicled her nights within these walls, her dreams and fears laid bare in ink. As they read her words, Cedric and Alara were transported to a different time, a world where the constraints of nobility were both a burden and a blessing. The entries spoke of nights spent in quiet reflection, of moments of joy and sorrow, of dreams that reached beyond the stars. It was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that even within the confines of tradition, there was room for individuality, for the expression of one's true self. With each page they turned, the story unfolded, a tapestry of emotions woven together with care and grace. It was a journey through the soul of a woman who had lived and loved, who had found solace in the embrace of the night. And as they read, Cedric and Alara felt a profound connection to her, a kinship that transcended time and space. In her words, they found echoes of their own journey, a reminder that the quest for understanding was a path shared by all who dared to dream. The room, with its gentle twilight and soft whispers of the past, was a sanctuary, a place where the boundaries between reality and imagination blurred, allowing the soul to wander freely. It was a reminder that, even in the most turbulent of times, there was beauty to be found, a solace that could be sought in the quiet moments of reflection. As they closed the journal, the room seemed to sigh, its secrets once more concealed within the folds of time. But Cedric and Alara knew that the manor had not yet revealed all it had to offer. There were still mysteries to uncover, stories waiting to be told, and they were determined to see their journey through to the end. With renewed purpose, they left the room behind, its gentle energy lingering like the final notes of a lullaby. The manor, with its timeless grace and hidden depths, was a world unto itself, a place where the past and present coexisted in perfect harmony. And as they continued their exploration, the whispers of history guided them, a reminder that the quest for understanding was a journey without end, a dance through time that would forever entwine their own stories with those of the nobles who had once called this place home. The corridors of the manor stretched endlessly before them, an intricate tapestry of shadows and light, each corner promising a new revelation. Cedric and Alara moved like specters through the dimly lit passages, their presence a gentle disturbance in the serene flow of time. The walls, adorned with portraits of stern-faced ancestors and tapestries depicting grand hunts and noble gatherings, seemed to watch them with a silent, knowing gaze. Their footsteps echoed softly against the stone floors, a rhythmic accompaniment to the whispers of history that surrounded them. It was as if the very air was charged with stories, waiting patiently to be uncovered. The manor was a living archive, its every nook and cranny a repository of the past's secrets. As they ventured deeper into the heart of the estate, the atmosphere shifted subtly. The air grew cooler, carrying with it a faint, metallic tang that spoke of hidden spaces and forgotten chambers. Cedric's curiosity was piqued, and he exchanged a glance with Alara, whose eyes sparkled with anticipation. They found themselves standing before a heavy wooden door, its surface worn smooth by the passage of time. An ornate handle, tarnished with age, beckoned them forward. With a shared nod, Cedric reached out, his fingers closing around the cool metal. The door swung open with a low creak, revealing a staircase spiraling downwards into the depths of the manor. The descent was slow and deliberate, their senses heightened by the unknown awaiting them below. The flickering light from the sconces cast wavering shadows that danced along the walls, creating an illusion of movement in the stillness. As they reached the bottom, a vast underground chamber unfolded before them, its expanse hidden in the depths of darkness. Cedric and Alara paused, taking in the sight that greeted them. The chamber was a marvel of forgotten engineering, its ceiling supported by towering columns that seemed to stretch into eternity. In the center, an intricate mosaic floor depicted a celestial map, its constellations rendered in precious stones that glimmered like stars in the dim light. It was a place of quiet majesty, a sanctuary that had remained untouched by the passage of centuries. The air was thick with a sense of reverence, as if they had stumbled upon a sacred space dedicated to the contemplation of the cosmos. Alara knelt to examine the mosaic, her fingers tracing the outlines of the constellations. This must have been a place of great significance, she mused, her voice barely above a whisper. Perhaps the nobles who lived here sought solace in the stars, seeking guidance and inspiration from the heavens above. Cedric nodded, his mind racing with possibilities. It's incredible to think how connected they must have felt to the universe, he replied. In a world filled with uncertainty and change, there was comfort to be found in the constancy of the stars. As they continued to explore the chamber, they discovered a series of alcoves carved into the walls, each one housing a small, ornately decorated cot. The bedding, though faded with age, hinted at a level of opulence reserved for the highest echelons of society. It was a sleeping quarter unlike any they had encountered before, blending the grandeur of the heavens with the intimacy of a personal retreat. The room seemed to hum with the echoes of its past inhabitants, nobles who had sought refuge here, cradled by the gentle embrace of the night sky. Cedric and Alara could almost imagine them, reclining beneath the stars, their dreams mingling with the celestial dance above. But even as they marveled at the beauty of the chamber, a sense of unease began to creep in. There was something here, a presence that lingered just beyond the edge of perception. It was as if the chamber itself was alive, aware of their intrusion, and waiting for the right moment to reveal its true nature. A sudden chill swept through the air, and the sconces flickered ominously. Cedric tensed, his instincts on high alert. "Do you feel that?" he asked, his voice hushed. Alara nodded, her eyes scanning the shadows for any sign of movement. "It's as if the chamber is trying to tell us something," she replied. "Perhaps there's more to this place than meets the eye." With renewed caution, they continued their exploration, their senses attuned to the slightest change in their surroundings. As they moved from one alcove to the next, they discovered a series of inscriptions etched into the stone walls. The script was ancient, its meaning obscured by the passage of time, but there was a lyrical quality to the words, a rhythm that spoke to the soul. Alara traced her fingers over the carvings, her mind racing to decipher their message. "These are not just decorations," she whispered. "They're incantations, prayers woven into the very fabric of the stone." This place was more than just a sleeping chamber. It was a sanctuary, a place of spiritual reflection. Cedric felt a thrill of excitement mixed with trepidation. But why was it hidden away? He wondered aloud. What secrets did they seek to protect? As if in response to his question, a low rumble echoed through the chamber, the ground trembling beneath their feet. Dust cascaded from the ceiling, and the columns groaned under the strain. Cedric and Alara exchanged a panicked glance, their hearts racing. "We need to get out of here," Cedric said urgently, grabbing Alara's hand and pulling her toward the exit. They sprinted up the staircase, the ancient stones vibrating with an unseen energy. As they reached the top, the door slammed shut behind them with a resounding crash, sealing the chamber below. Breathless and shaken, they found themselves once more in the dimly lit corridor, the air heavy with the scent of old wood and mystery. The manor had closed its secrets away once more, leaving them with more questions than answers. But as they stood there, catching their breath, Cedric and Alara felt a renewed sense of purpose. The chamber might have eluded them for now, but the manor was vast, its corridors winding and endless. There were still so many rooms to explore, so many stories to uncover. And so, with hearts full of determination and minds brimming with curiosity, they continued their journey through the manor, guided by the whispers of his promise of discovery. The noble past, with its curious customs and hidden chambers, beckoned them onward, weaving their own stories into the rich tapestry of time. As Cedric and Alara resumed their exploration, the manor's corridors seemed to stretch into infinity, each turn offering a new glimpse into the illustrious lives of its former residents. The walls whispered tales of grandeur and intrigue, and their footsteps echoed softly, as if not to disturb the ghosts of the past. Their journey took them to the East Wing, where the air seemed lighter, as though infused with the fragrance of forgotten gardens. Here, the rooms were adorned with portraits that gazed down with regal indifference, their painted eyes watching over the secrets of the noble inhabitants who had once walked these same halls. Alara paused before a particularly striking portrait of a woman clad in a deep emerald gown, her hair cascading in dark waves that seemed to almost shimmer in the dim light. "Who do you think she was?" Alara mused aloud, her voice barely a whisper. Cedric stepped closer, squinting at the small brass plaque beneath the frame. "Lady Isolde of the Emerald Isle," he read, "renowned for her beauty and her mysterious disappearance." The mention of another mystery piqued their interest, and they exchanged a glance, silently agreeing to delve deeper into Lady Isolde's story. The room that lay adjacent to her portrait was a boudoir, untouched by time, with silken drapes that whispered secrets as they swayed gently in a non-existent breeze. A grand four-poster bed dominated the space, its canopy woven from threads of gold and silver, shimmering with an ethereal quality. Cedric approached the bed, running his fingers lightly over the intricate designs etched into the wood. "This bed must have been a masterpiece of its time," he remarked, the awe evident in his voice. "Imagine the craftsmanship, the hours spent on each detail." Alara nodded, her eyes drawn to a small, ornate box on the nightstand. She opened it carefully, revealing a collection of vials and powders, their labels faded but still legible. "Sleeping draughts," she murmured, recognizing the alchemical symbols. "It seems even Lady Isolde had her rituals for sleep." The discovery of the sleeping draughts spurred their imaginations, and they wandered through the boudoir, piecing together the life of the enigmatic lady. Cedric found a diary, its leather cover cracked with age, and began to read aloud. The entries were filled with musings on court life, the pressures of nobility, and, intriguingly, cryptic references to dreams that seemed to haunt Lady Isolde's nights. "The veil between waking and dreaming grows thin," Cedric read, his voice tinged with wonder and a hint of unease. "In my slumber, I see corridors filled with light and shadow, doors that lead to places unknown." Alara shivered slightly, her imagination conjuring visions of the dreamscapes that had perhaps plagued the lady's mind. "Do you think her disappearance was linked to these dreams?" she pondered, her curiosity mingling with a sense of foreboding. Before Cedric could respond, a sudden sound echoed through the room, a soft rustling that seemed to come from the walls themselves. They turned, their hearts quickening, as a section of the wall slid open with a quiet elegance, revealing a hidden passageway. The air that wafted from the opening was cool and carried with it the scent of earth and mystery. "Another secret," Cedric breathed, his eyes alight with the thrill of discovery. Without hesitation, they stepped through the opening, the passageway cocooning them in its embrace. The walls were rough and cool to the touch, a stark contrast to the opulence of the manor's main rooms. It was as if they had stepped into another world, one where the whispers of the past were almost audible. The passage twisted and turned, leading them deeper into the heart of the manor. The air grew cooler, and the faint sound of dripping water reached their ears, a rhythmic accompaniment to their cautious footsteps. Their path ended at a heavy wooden door, its surface etched with symbols that seemed to pulse with an ancient energy. Alara hesitated, her hand hovering over the door's handle. "Do you think this is where Lady Isolde vanished?" she asked, her voice barely audible over the sound of their own breathing. Cedric placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "There's only one way to find out," he replied, and together they pushed the door open. The room beyond was unlike anything they had seen. It was a cavernous chamber, its ceiling lost in shadow. The walls were lined with shelves filled with books and scrolls, their spines glinting in the dim light. In the center of the room stood a massive stone altar, its surface adorned with symbols that mirrored those on the door. As they stepped closer, the air around them seemed to hum with energy, a vibration that resonated deep within their bones. Alara's eyes were drawn to a large book resting on the altar, its pages open as if waiting for someone to continue reading. Cedric picked it up, his fingers tingling as they touched the aged parchment. "These are no ordinary texts," he said, his voice filled with reverence. "This is a compendium of dreams, a record of visions and prophecies." Alara leaned in, her curiosity piqued. "Do you think Lady Isolde wrote this?" she asked, her eyes scanning the elegant script. The pages were filled with intricate illustrations and descriptions of dreams that seemed to transcend time and space. As they read, a sense of unease settled over them. The dreams described within the book were vivid and complex, weaving together threads of reality and imagination. There were accounts of journeys through ethereal landscapes, encounters with beings of light and shadow, and glimpses of futures yet to unfold. Cedric turned the page, revealing an entry that sent a chill down their spines. It described a dream of a manor, its corridors endless and filled with secrets, much like the one they stood in. And at the heart of it all, a woman in an emerald gown, forever walking the line between waking and dreaming. The realization struck them with a quiet intensity. Lady Isolde's disappearance was not a simple mystery of the physical realm. It was a journey into the depths of her own mind, an exploration of the boundaries between reality and the dream world. As they stood there, the air around them seemed to shift, the energy of the room growing more palpable. The manor, with its secrets and stories, was alive in a way they had never imagined. It was a place where the past and present intertwined, where the dreams of nobles lingered in the very walls. With newfound understanding, Cedric and Alara closed the book and placed it back on the altar. Their journey through the manor was far from over, but they now knew that the answers they sought were not merely hidden in the physical realm. They were woven into the fabric of dreams, waiting to be uncovered by those who dared to seek them. As they retraced their steps back through the passageway and into the boudoir, Cedric and Alara felt a profound connection to the past. The manor was more than just a place of stone and wood. It was a repository of dreams, a testament to the curious customs and lives of the nobles who had once called it home. And so, with hearts full of wonder and minds alive with possibility, they continued their exploration, guided by the whispers of history and the promise of discovery. The noble past, with its secrets and stories, beckoned them onward, weaving their own tales into the rich tapestry of time. As Cedric and Alara emerged from the shadowy passageway into the boudoir, they felt a gentle shift in the air, as if the manor itself was exhaling a long-held breath. The room, with its opulent draperies and intricately carved furniture, seemed to pulse with a life of its own, echoing the rhythms of dreams and whispers of long-gone inhabitants. Alara paused by the grand four-poster bed, its canopy a cascade of deep velvet, the color of twilight. Her fingers traced the delicate embroidery of the coverlet, each stitch a testament to the hands that had crafted it, each thread a part of the fabric of history. "It's as if the bed itself holds secrets," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper, as if afraid to disturb the ghosts of the past. Cedric joined her, his eyes lingering on the bed's ornate headboard, where mythical creatures frolicked in a dance of wood and artistry. "Imagine the dreams that were dreamed here," he said, his voice filled with awe. "What stories were spun in the night, what hopes and fears took flight beneath these covers." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden draft that swept through the room, a gentle breeze that carried with it the faint scent of lavender and something else, something ancient and indefinable. It was as if the manor itself was responding to their musings, inviting them deeper into its mysteries. Intrigued, Cedric and Alara followed the breeze to a corner of the room where a hidden door lay half concealed by a tapestry depicting a serene garden scene. Alara reached out to touch the tapestry, her fingers brushing against the woven leaves and flowers. "There's more to this place than meets the eye," she said, her voice tinged with excitement. Cedric nodded, his curiosity piqued. "Shall we see where this leads?" he asked, gesturing towards the hidden door. With a shared sense of adventure, they pushed the door open, revealing a narrow staircase spiraling downwards into the heart of the manor. As they descended the steps, the air grew cooler, carrying with it the earthy scent of stone and age. The staircase seemed to lead them into the very belly of the manor, away from the warmth and light of the upper rooms. There was a sense of timelessness here, a feeling that they were stepping back into an era where the lines between the waking world and the realm of dreams were blurred. At the bottom of the staircase, they found themselves in a small chamber lined with shelves filled with books, scrolls, and curious artifacts. The room was dimly lit by a single lantern hanging from the ceiling, casting flickering shadows on the walls. Alara moved towards the shelves, her eyes scanning the spines of the books. "These look like journals," she said, pulling one down and opening it to reveal pages filled with elegant handwriting. "Records of dreams, perhaps?" Cedric joined her, peering over her shoulder at the pages. "Or the dreams themselves," he suggested, his mind racing with the possibilities. The nobles of this manor must have been chroniclers of their own nocturnal journeys. As they pored over the journals, they discovered a wealth of information about the sleeping habits and rituals of the manor's former inhabitants. Some entries detailed elaborate bedtime routines, involving the burning of specific herbs to induce vivid dreams or the placement of certain objects beneath the pillow to ward off nightmares. Others recounted dreams of fantastical realms and encounters with ethereal beings, as if the dreamers had stepped into another world during their slumber. One journal, in particular, caught Alara's attention. It belonged to a noblewoman named Lady Isolda, who seemed to have been especially attuned to the dream world. Her entries were filled with poetic descriptions of her dreamscapes, where she wandered through moonlit gardens and conversed with figures shrouded in mist. But it was not just the beauty of her dreams that captivated Alara. It was the sense of urgency that pervaded Lady Isolda's writings, as if she were trying to convey a message from beyond the veil of sleep. She believed her dreams held the key to something important, Alara said, her brow furrowed in thought. Cedric nodded, his own curiosity piqued. Perhaps her dreams were a way of communicating with the past or even the future, he mused, his voice filled with wonder. What if the dreams of the nobles were not just flights of fancy, but windows into other worlds? As they continued to explore the chamber, they stumbled upon a hidden compartment at the back of one of the shelves. Inside, they found a small, intricately carved box made of dark wood. Alara lifted the lid to reveal a collection of small vials, each filled with a shimmering liquid. Dream elixirs, Cedric guessed, examining the vials with interest. Perhaps these were used to enhance the dream experience, to make it more vivid or to guide the dreamer to specific visions. Alara held one of the vials up to the light, watching as the liquid inside caught the lantern's glow and refracted it into a kaleidoscope of colors. "It's beautiful," she said, her voice filled with awe, but also a little unsettling. Imagine the power these held in the hands of those who knew how to use them. Their discovery of the dream elixirs added a new layer of intrigue to their exploration of the manor. It was clear that the nobles who had once lived here had placed great importance on their dreams, treating them as more than just the wanderings of the mind in sleep. They were gateways to understanding, to knowledge, and perhaps even to power. As they made their way back to the boudoir, Cedric and Alara couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of uncovering something monumental. The manor had revealed its secrets to them gradually, each discovery leading them further down a path they had never anticipated when they first set foot in the ancient building. Back in the boudoir, the air seemed to shimmer with possibility, as if the very walls were alive with anticipation. Cedric and Alara stood by the bed, their minds racing with the revelations of the day. "What do you think we should do next?" Alara asked, her voice filled with a mix of excitement and trepidation. Cedric considered her question, the weight of their discoveries settling upon him like a mantle. "I think we need to understand the dreams themselves," he said finally. "To truly grasp the significance of what we've found, we must experience the dreams that the nobles once dreamed." Alara nodded, a resolute look on her face. "Then let's prepare," she said, her voice steady and determined. "We have the journals, the elixirs, and the knowledge we've gained. All that's left is to take the leap and see where the dreams will lead us." And so, with the echoes of history guiding their steps, Cedric and Alara set about preparing for the night ahead. The manor, with its ancient secrets and untold stories, watched over them, a silent guardian of dreams waiting to be dreamed anew. The evening sky deepened to a shade of indigo, as stars timidly began to puncture the velvet canopy above. The manor, with its time-worn grandeur, stood resolute against the encroaching night, its turrets and spires silhouetted against the fading light. Cedric and Alara moved through the dimly lit corridors with a sense of purpose, each footfall echoing the weight of history beneath their heels. The air was thick with the scent of aged wood and the faint trace of lavender, remnants of a bygone era that clung to the manor like a spectral embrace. They reached the room where their journey had begun, a chamber of opulence and mystery, with a bed that had cradled the dreams of nobles long past. The bed itself was a masterpiece, an intricate tapestry of carved mahogany, draped with silks and brocades that whispered tales of luxury and longing. Cedric carefully laid out the journals they had discovered, their pages yellowed with age but filled with the vibrant ink of lived experiences. Alara uncorked a vial of elixir, the liquid inside shimmering with a strange luminescence. It was a concoction they had painstakingly recreated from the recipes found within the journals, a mixture said to open the mind to dreams of profound clarity and insight. As they prepared to embark on their nocturnal journey, the room seemed to hum with energy, as if the manor itself was awakening in anticipation. A gentle breeze, unaccounted for by the closed windows, caressed their skin, carrying with it a whisper of voices from the past, urging them forward. Cedric and Alara exchanged a glance, a silent agreement passing between them. They each took a careful sip of the elixir, its taste both sweet and bitter, like an echo of forgotten memories. The effect was immediate, a tingling sensation that danced along their spines, sharpening their senses and dulling the boundary between the conscious and the subconscious. They lay down on the bed, its ancient frame creaking softly under their weight. The room around them seemed to recede, the shadows lengthening and twisting into forms both familiar and strange. The tapestry of time unfurled before them, a rich and vivid panorama of the past, inviting them to step beyond the veil of the present. As they drifted into sleep, the manor's secrets began to unfold in their dreams. They found themselves in a grand ballroom, its marble floors gleaming under the soft glow of chandeliers. Nobles in resplendent attire glided across the floor, their movements graceful and deliberate. Cedric and Alara watched, unseen observers in a dreamscape that felt both real and ethereal. They noticed the peculiar rituals of the nobles as they danced. Each movement seemed choreographed not just for elegance but for purpose, a silent language spoken through the sway of hips and the flutter of fans. The dance was a reflection of their lives, a delicate balance of power and poise. In the midst of the revelry, a figure caught Alara's eye. A woman, her gown a cascade of emerald silk, moved with an air of authority and grace. Her gaze met Alara's, and for a moment, the dreamscape shifted, pulling Alara toward her with an irresistible force. The woman's eyes, deep and knowing, seemed to convey a message, a fragment of a story lost to time. Cedric, too, felt the pull of the dream. He found himself in a library, its towering shelves lined with tomes of forgotten knowledge. The air was thick with the scent of parchment and ink, a comforting balm that soothed his restless mind. As he explored the library, a book caught his attention, a leather-bound volume with a crest embossed in gold. Opening the book, Cedric found himself immersed in its pages, the words leaping out at him with vivid clarity. The text described the rituals of sleep that the nobles had adhered to, their nightly routines a delicate dance of preparation and intention. Each ritual was a key, unlocking the door to dreams that guided their decisions and shaped their destinies. The night unfolded in layers, each dream revealing a new facet of the nobles' lives. Cedric and Alara journeyed through opulent chambers and shadowed corridors, their senses attuned to the whispers of history. They walked among the nobles, their presence unnoticed yet intimately connected to the stories that played out before them. As the dreams wove their tapestry, a sense of urgency began to build. The dreams were not just a window into the past but a puzzle, each piece a clue to a larger mystery. Cedric and Alara felt the weight of their discoveries pressing upon them, urging them to delve deeper, to uncover the truth hidden within the dreams. With each revelation, the manor seemed to shift around them, its walls a living entity that breathed with the rhythm of time. The dreams led them to a banquet hall, where a feast was laid out in sumptuous detail. The aromas were intoxicating, a rich blend of spices and roasted meats that filled the air with warmth and comfort. As they watched, the nobles gathered at the table, their laughter and conversation a symphony of voices that filled the hall. Yet, beneath the surface of the merriment, there was tension, a subtle undercurrent of intrigue and ambition that crackled like static in the air. Alara noticed the emerald-gowned woman again, seated at the head of the table. Her presence commanded attention, her gestures deliberate and precise. The nobles around her deferred to her with a respect that bordered on reverence, and Alara felt a kinship with her, a connection that transcended the boundaries of the dream. Cedric, too, was drawn to the banquet, his gaze fixed on a figure at the far end of the table. A man, his features sharp and calculating, watched the proceedings with an intensity that set him apart from the revelers. Cedric sensed a kindred spirit in him, a seeker of knowledge and truth. As the dream unfolded, Cedric and Alara began to piece together the threads of the narrative. The nobles' sleep rituals were more than mere custom. They were a means of communication, a way to navigate the complex web of alliances and rivalries that defined their world. Dreams were not just a refuge but a tool, a way to see beyond the veil of the present and into the realm of possibilities. The night wore on, the dreams weaving a tapestry of intrigue and revelation. Cedric and Alara drifted through the layers of time, their minds open to the secrets that lay hidden in the shadows. The manor, with its ancient wisdom and silent whispers, enveloped them in its embrace, guiding them on their journey through the night. As the first light of dawn began to filter through the windows, Cedric and Alara awoke, their minds buzzing with the knowledge they had gained. The dreams had revealed much, yet there was still more to uncover. The manor, with its secrets and stories, awaited their continued exploration, a guardian of dreams that promised new revelations with each night. With the echoes of the past still resonating in their minds, Cedric and Alara rose, ready to delve deeper into the mysteries of noble sleep. The journey was far from over, and the manor, with its timeless allure, beckoned them forward into the depths of history. The morning greeted Cedric and Alara with a gentle embrace, the soft golden light painting their surroundings in hues of amber and rose. The manor, a silent sentinel that had watched over countless dawns, seemed to sigh contentedly with the first stirrings of the day. Its stone walls, imbued with the stories of those who had walked its corridors, radiated a warmth that was both comforting and mysterious. As they dressed, Cedric and Alara exchanged knowing glances, their shared dreams still vivid in their minds. The visions had been unlike anything they had experienced before, weaving a rich tapestry of noble customs and clandestine rituals. Each fragment, each whisper, was a puzzle piece that promised to unlock the secrets of noble slumber through the ages. Their first task of the day was to visit the library, a vast room filled with ancient tomes and manuscripts that chronicled the history of the manor and its illustrious inhabitants. The scent of aged leather and parchment greeted them as they entered, and the dust motes danced in the morning light, suspended like tiny stars in the vast universe of knowledge. Alara, with her keen eye for detail, began scanning the shelves, her fingers brushing against the spines of books long forgotten. Cedric, drawn to a particular tome that seemed to call to him, pulled it from the shelf with reverence. The book, bound in rich, dark leather, was adorned with intricate gold filigree that glimmered in the light. As they settled into the plush armchairs by the window, Cedric opened the tome, revealing pages filled with elegant script and detailed illustrations. It was a compendium of noble customs, capturing the essence of their lives with an intimacy that was both enlightening and tantalizing. Together, they delved into the text, uncovering the secrets of noble sleep that had been hidden from the world for centuries. The pages spoke of grand bedchambers adorned with opulent fabrics and exquisite carvings, of beds that were more than mere furniture but symbols of power and status. The dreams of the nobility, it seemed, were not solely their own. They were shaped by the grandeur and expectations of their surroundings. One passage caught Alara's attention, describing a peculiar custom from the Renaissance period. It told of a noble family who believed that their dreams held the key to their fortune and, as such, employed a dream interpreter who lived within the manor. This dream interpreter, revered and feared in equal measure, would listen to the whispered dreams of the household and reveal their meanings, guiding the family's decisions and fate. The notion fascinated Alara, and she imagined what it would have been like to hold such sway over a family's destiny. The responsibility, the power, and the danger of misinterpretation loomed large in her mind. It was a reminder of how deeply intertwined dreams were with the lives of those who slept within the manor's walls. As they continued reading, Cedric found an account of a medieval knight who had returned from the Crusades, his mind troubled by the horrors he had witnessed. His sleep was plagued by nightmares, and the family's healer crafted a potion of herbs and spices to ease his troubled mind. The manor's gardens, with their hidden alcoves and secret pathways, had provided the ingredients for this elixir, a testament to the symbiotic relationship between the land and those who dwelled upon it. Cedric and Alara were captivated by the notion of such remedies, and they resolved to explore the manor's gardens later, curious to see if any of these ancient plants still grew in the fertile soil. The idea of walking through the same pathways that had once yielded solace to troubled souls filled them with a sense of wonder and connection to the past. Their morning study was interrupted by the gentle chime of a bell, signaling the arrival of breakfast. The dining room, with its grand table and high-backed chairs, was a testament to the opulence of the manor's past. Silver platters adorned with fruits and pastries were laid before them, a feast that was both nourishing and decadent. As they ate, they discussed their findings, their conversation a dance of ideas and possibilities. The manor, with its secrets and stories, was a labyrinth they were eager to navigate, each twist and turn promising new discoveries. With the meal concluded, they made their way to the gardens, the air crisp and invigorating. The paths, lined with hedges and statues, led them to a secluded grove where the sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting dappled shadows on the ground. It was a place of tranquility, a sanctuary where the past and present coexisted in harmony. Exploring the garden, they found an array of herbs and plants, their scents mingling in the air. Alara recognized several from the texts they had read, and she could almost envision the healer from centuries past gathering them under the same sun-dappled canopy. Their exploration was interrupted by the sudden sound of rustling leaves, a movement that seemed out of place in the serene surroundings. Cedric and Alara exchanged a glance, their curiosity piqued. They moved silently towards the source of the disturbance, their footsteps soft on the moss-covered path. What they found was a small, hidden alcove, nestled within the garden's embrace. In the center stood an ancient sundial, its surface etched with symbols that seemed to pulse with an energy of their own. It was a relic of a bygone era, a testament to the manor's enduring mystery. As they studied the sundial, Alara noticed a series of notches along its edge, each marked with a different emblem. She recognized some from the manuscripts they had read, symbols associated with dreams and the passage of time. Cedric, too, was intrigued, and he traced the symbols with his fingers, feeling a warmth emanating from the stone. It was as if the sundial was alive, aware of their presence and eager to share its secrets. In that moment, they realized that the manor was not just a repository of history but a living entity, its heart beating in time with their own. The sundial, with its enigmatic symbols, was a key to unlocking the mysteries of noble sleep, a guide to understanding the dreams that had shaped the lives of those who had called the manor home. The discovery filled them with a sense of purpose, a realization that their journey was far from over. The manor, with its timeless allure and hidden depths, awaited their continued exploration, promising new revelations with each step they took. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the garden, Cedric and Alara made their way back to the manor, their minds ablaze with possibilities. The night promised new dreams, new visions, and they were ready to embrace whatever secrets the manor would reveal. In the gathering twilight, they felt the weight of history upon their shoulders, a responsibility to uncover the truths that lay hidden in the shadows. The manor, with its silent whispers and ancient wisdom, was their guide, leading them ever deeper into the heart of noble sleep, where dreams and reality intertwined. As they crossed the threshold of the manor, a gentle breeze stirred the trees, rustling the leaves in a symphony that seemed to echo the manor's own anticipation. Cedric and Alara felt a profound connection to the place, as if the very walls were welcoming them back, eager to share their secrets. The evening unfolded with a quiet grace, the manor bathed in the soft glow of candlelight. The flickering flames danced upon the walls, casting fleeting shadows that seemed to hint at stories yet untold. Cedric and Alara settled into the library, its air thick with the scent of old paper and polished wood, their hearts attuned to the whispers of the past. As they delved into the ancient tome, the words on the pages seemed to come alive, weaving tales of those who had walked the same halls, dreamed the same dreams. The manor had been a haven for visionaries and dreamers, a sanctuary where the boundary between the waking world and the realm of dreams blurred into one. In that sacred silence, Cedric and Alara realized that the manor was, in truth, a tapestry of stories, each thread a life, a dream, a hope. And as they read, they could feel their own threads being woven into the fabric of this timeless place, their lives now part of its enduring legacy. The night deepened, stars shimmering like distant echoes of forgotten dreams. Outside, the garden was a shadowy realm of possibilities, the moon casting a silvery light upon the paths they would explore again come morning. For now, they were content to remain within the manor's warm embrace, letting the stories of old guide them gently into slumber. As sleep took them, Cedric and Alara dreamed not only of the past but of the future, of a world where the dreams of the manor's inhabitants might inspire new generations. They understood now that their journey was part of an unending cycle, a dance between history and imagination, where each dream held the power to reshape reality. The manor stood sentinel in the night, its secrets safe in the hands of those who truly understood its worth. And so, in the quietude of noble sleep, Cedric and Alara became part of its story, dreamers among dreamers, keepers of an endless night where the heart of the manor beat softly, eternally. As dawn began to paint the horizon with hues of gold and rose, the manor stirred gently back to life. The whispers of night receded, replaced by the soft rustle of leaves and the melodic calls of morning birds. Cedric and Alara awoke to this symphony, their hearts still resonating with the mysteries they had embraced in their dreams. They rose with a newfound purpose, their steps light yet deliberate as they wandered once more through the hallowed halls. Each room they passed seemed to greet them with a familiar warmth, as if acknowledging their place within its storied tapestry. The manor, with its ancient grace, had accepted them as its own, weaving their tale into its enduring legacy. In the garden, the first blooms of spring unfurled, vibrant and unyielding, a promise of renewal and continuity. Cedric and Alara knew that their journey, though deeply personal, was but a thread in a vast, intricate weave. a testament to the enduring nature of dreams and the stories they inspire. Holding hands, they paused at the gate, casting one last look at the manor that had become their sanctuary. It stood majestic, bathed in the gentle light of morning, a guardian of stories untold. With a shared smile, they turned away, their hearts full of gratitude and hope, ready to step into the future they had glimpsed in their dreams. And so, as the day unfolded, Cedric and Alara carried the spirit of the manor with them, their lives forever intertwined with its magic. The world awaited them, vast and uncharted, a blank page upon which they would inscribe their own chapters, inspired by the legacy of the past and the boundless possibilities of tomorrow. As they walked down the winding path away from the manor, the morning sun cast long shadows that danced playfully at their feet, whispering secrets of the past and promises of what was yet to come. The air was fragrant with the scent of blossoming flowers, each petal a vibrant testament to life's resilience and the beauty of beginnings anew. Cedric and Alara moved forward with an unspoken understanding, their hearts in rhythm with the harmonious symphony of nature awakening around them. The world seemed to hold its breath, as if acknowledging the significance of their journey and the courage it took to embrace the unknown. In their silence, the echoes of the manor's ancient halls lingered, a gentle reminder that every ending is but a prelude to a new story. The tales of old had laid the groundwork, and now it was their turn to carve out a narrative all their own, full of discovery, love, and dreams yet to be realized. As they reached the edge of the garden, where the wild began to reclaim its dominion, Cedric paused, turning to Alara with a look of profound affection. "This is where we start," he said softly, his voice carrying the weight of hope and the lightness of joy. Alara nodded, her eyes bright with the promise of adventures untold. "Together," she replied, her voice a melody that intertwined with the morning breeze. With one last glance backward, they stepped beyond the garden's embrace, leaving behind the echoes of the past but carrying its essence within them. The path ahead was theirs to forge, a canvas waiting to be painted with the hues of their dreams and the legacy of those who had walked before them. And so, beneath the vast, azure sky, Cedric and Alara ventured into the horizon, their spirits entwined, ready to weave their own story into the tapestry of time, a story of love, courage, and endless possibilities. As they walked hand in hand, the landscape unfolded before them like a symphony of colors and sounds, a vibrant tapestry that seemed to echo their heart's newfound rhythm. The sun shone generously, casting golden rays that danced across their path, while the wind whispered secrets of the world yet to be unveiled. With every step, they felt the earth's gentle heartbeat beneath their feet, a reminder of the life they were about to embrace. The wildflowers, in their riotous blooms, seemed to nod in approval, swaying in time with the gentle breeze. Each petal, each leaf, seemed to sing a song of encouragement, a silent cheer for the journey just begun. Cedric and Alara walked on, their souls alight with dreams that fluttered like butterflies around them. They spoke of hopes and plans, their laughter ringing out like bells in the morning air. Every glance they exchanged held the promise of 1,000 tomorrows, of days filled with warmth and nights adorned with starlit wonder. As they ventured further, the world around them transformed, shifting from the familiar embrace of the garden to the untamed beauty of the forest. Here, the trees stood tall and ancient, their branches weaving a canopy of green that filtered the sunlight into delicate patterns on the forest floor. The air was rich with the scent of pine and earth, a fragrance that spoke of life in its purest form. In that sacred space, where time seemed to slow and the universe held its breath, Cedric and Alara paused. They stood in awe of the moment, feeling the weight of its significance. For this was more than just a beginning. It was a continuation, a thread in the greater tapestry of life and love, woven with purpose and passion. And so, with hearts full and spirits unyielding, they moved forward into the world they were destined to explore. Together, they would carve their own path, leaving footprints in the sands of time, a testament to their journey, a story of love, courage, and the endless possibilities that lay ahead. Thus, beneath the eternal sky, they embraced the horizon, ready to write their own chapter in the book of life, knowing that the true magic lay not just in the destination, but in the journey itself, a journey they would walk together forevermore. As they stepped forward, the forest whispered its ancient secrets, a gentle symphony of leaves rustling and branches swaying in the soft wind. Each step they took was a promise, a vow to cherish the unknown days yet to unfold, and a testament to the strength found in unity. The sun dipped lower, painting the sky with hues of amber and rose, casting a golden glow upon the path they tread. In this moment, time itself seemed a mere illusion, as if the universe conspired to hold them in this perfect embrace, suspended between the past and the infinite future. Cedric glanced at Alara, his eyes reflecting the deep connection they shared, a bond forged in the fires of trials and triumphs. She returned his gaze with a smile that spoke of trust and dreams, of hopes kindled in the quiet corners of their hearts. As twilight descended, they paused once more, the world around them a tapestry of shadows and light, a mirror to their own journey. In the stillness, they understood that their story, like the forest, was alive, ever growing, ever changing, yet rooted in a profound truth. Together, they ventured onward, their laughter echoing among the trees, mingling with the songs of birds and the whispers of the wind. And as night cloaked the land in a blanket of stars, they knew that the love they shared was their guiding star, illuminating the path ahead. In that sacred dance of life, where every ending is but a new beginning, Cedric and Alara found their rhythm. They were not merely travelers in the world, but creators of their destiny, bound by love to explore the mysteries of life with open hearts and boundless wonder. Thus, under the vast, eternal sky, they journeyed forth, with the promise of forever etched in the footprints they left behind. A poetic testament to a love that would endure beyond the confines of time and space, as eternal and infinite as the stars themselves.